Ho 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 ho! Boys, what is happening? So it seems Christopher Dring may have actually been wrong about who he was talking about when it turned out that a major publisher was thinking about why they are making games for Xbox or considering it or questioning it. Because up until this point, not a single publisher, be it third party, major, or anything, has come out to corroborate what they've actually said. And of course, he hasn't actually said anything either himself. So as far as I'm concerned, regardless of my thoughts on the overall conversation, which a lot of you will now know my thoughts and how it articulates the conversation, it seems like there is no real basis for it, and anyone running rampant with that news, well, at the end of the day, you can go and do whatever the hell you like. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, there's no substantial evidence for this. At the end of the day, if a major publisher is saying this, they're clearly saying it without fear of what's happening, so why not just name them, right? Name them, and so they can actually be known. It's not exactly a source that's leaking information. But if you're not even prepared to name the outlet that's actually saying this, well, then you might have a little bit of a problem. But first, let's have a look at the comments from the last two videos. I'm going to do actually something different because the votings were so close on the last video. I'm actually going to read them both. So we have Sam Crow here, 4640. The Last of Us really shouldn't follow the law for its second season. And this is referring to Joel's incident. It's going to be interesting how they do that, but I do know from, well, at least from what I've read, that they're actually going to make the whole second game 2 seasons. So it's going to be season 2 and season 3. Half of the game is going to be season 2, the other half's going to be season 3. So they're trying to space that out. So it's going to be interesting to see when that incident actually happens and how it develops. We've got Brother Knowledge here. Yep, I've been waiting on that Kenna Bridge of Spirits game since it launched 2 years ago. Glad to see its arrival on Xbox, which is where I will be getting it. No timed exclusive can beat out a patient gamer. And you are a better patient gamer than me, I will say that. But Kenna Bridge of Spirits is a fantastic game and one that you all should play. I'm hoping to pick it up when it releases on Xbox as well and complete it there because it is such a good game. Finally, in our video for PlayStation Going Day and Date, David Desrosiers 1946 says, Whoa, Reforge says that $70 is inescapable, but I thought PC pirates everything. Make it make sense, ponies. And that is it, right? Everyone says that PC gamers pirate, but at the end of the day, clearly Steam must be selling enough games to make it profitable. So clearly, the pirating community will always be there. They're not going away. They're going to do what they do no matter what protection you have on your games. But at the end of the day, PC games sell. And Reforge here is now accepting that pirates don't dominate everything. You heard it here, folks. Right, on with the video. But one we don't have a problem with is this one over here. It seems the PSVR2 is hitting a bit of a snag, and it looks like in this Discord, it looks like the Super RC racing game for the PSVR2, the developers are having a bit of a problem when it comes to supporting the game and trusting Sony in supporting another accessory that they are obviously going to abandon. Now, as you can see here, Chris BPG, one of the developers or producers or whatever it is, but he is a part of the actual BitPlanet studio that actually makes the games. Yeah, it's definitely a car game. No decisions have been made re PSVR2. Kinda depends on Sony. So this is a game that's coming to the Quest and people want it on the PSVR2. And so you've got people like the PSVR addict saying, depends on Sony? They say what games are allowed to release? Come on! And so Chris says no, but if they abandon supporting PSVR2, that will weigh heavily on our decision. And so PSVR Addict says they won't abandon it. In fact, it's been getting pushed more recent months than ever. Of course, Chris says we've heard otherwise. And obviously, the PlayStation fans can't take no for an answer, even though the developers are saying that we've heard otherwise. this is the Bloomberg by any chance, right? This is the same Bloomberg that they've been championing, supporting for every single bit of bad news that comes along for Xbox. But the moment he speaks badly of PlayStation, my dude needs to burn on a stake. This is the same people. Obviously, Chris then turns around and says no, because his sources didn't come from Bloomberg or from Jason Schreier. And in fact, they didn't, because we're about to find out where they did come from. So he goes, it's a bit of a surprise. I've seen more PSVR2 advertisement past few months than I have since release. My dude must be living in some kind of unicorn world. I haven't seen one. And that's from Sony. I haven't seen one. Not on Twitter, not on anything. Let's hope they continue to support it. They post PSVR2 in their X feed. No, they don't. And Facebook statuses. I don't use Facebook, so I can't dispute that one. Almost daily. But I can dispute the X one. They post those celebs playing PlayStation and them trying VR2 a few times recently. I mean, it's celebs, it's paid VR. They're getting paid to play it. That's not the way you advertise. And it's the first link on the store page, a big picture of VR2. Yeah, because no one's doesn't even know it exists anymore. They just want to let people know that it exists. To push it and then abandon it like that would make zero sense. Can I know your source? Buddy, no one will reveal your source. You are dumber than a brick at this point to ask for a source. But on this occasion, they do reveal their source. They say, our source is from within Sony. But I hope that person is incorrect. We shall see. I can say we will not be making our next game twice. Meaning we are building the game for the Quest platform and we will not be making the assets twice for another platform. We will never do that again. So clearly here what they're saying is they are more than happy to support the Quest because it has a much bigger fan base. And all this talk from, you know, that Chris guy who loves his Portal and VR2 and says that it is selling so many units that it is outselling the PS5 in itself. Well, he's not actually saying that, but the way he, jerks off to it, it pretty much does sound like that. But clearly over here, the developers are having a different view. The developers here are seeing that Sony has taken their foot off the pedal. They have taken their hand away from the PSVR2, and they can see the signs that we have all seen that Sony is once again abandoning their hardware. And like I've always said, for anyone that says they aren't abandoning the Portal requires zero maintenance. They don't have to make a game for the Portal, they don't have to do anything for the Portal. All they have to do is maintain it with some firmware updates and some quality of life touches, and that's it. And even the Portal, right, I remember Chris Hart turning around and saying that this thing was perfect, it is the best, it is amazing, but yet every single update that they do, he says, oh, I had this and this problem and this fixed it, or it's gotten better, or it's getting better, oh, this is the best patch yet. So clearly when the PS Portal actually came out, it was a pile of shit that they were all being paid to actually shill for. Because if you're turning around 6 months or 3 months or however long that device has been out and saying that this patch fixes so many issues, the screen now is so much clearer, and then when it first came out you were talking and saying, oh, the screen is crystal clear, you were being paid, my friend, paid by Sony to shill for them. That is how this works. You've been exposed, clearly, because at the end of the day you cannot tell me that it's been perfect from the get-go and then 2-3 months down the line start telling me that the updates have made it perfectly crystal clear, sharp, and even better than it was, and now it's actually really, really good. So what was it before then when you were saying it was really, really good? Anyway, off topic. I get back to this. It's clear that, outside of the PS Portal, Sony hasn't really bothered supporting anything. And it's a real shame because their PSP and the PS Vita were actually great handheld consoles. I owned them, I love them, I still own them. They are great devices that should have had more support. The Vita could have actually worked with the PS5, but they chose not to. Instead, they wanted to make the Portal instead. And obviously rip their consumers off a little bit more. But it's interesting to see that an actual developer has now come out publicly to talk about PSVR2 and say that Sony, it seems, has abandoned it. At least that is the news coming from inside Sony. And at the end of the day, who are you going to believe? Mr. Dring, who said, a publisher told me, without knowing the publisher, so I can easily turn around and say, hey guys, listen, a publisher has told me that they're questioning themselves why they should make games for the PlayStation 5. My statement has no lesser bearing or higher bearing than the one Chris String did, because at the end of the day, without us saying what the publisher is, my word is as good as his. It's really that simple. My word is as good as his because it's going nowhere. And to say, oh, but Chaos, you said you can't give your sources away. This has nothing to do with giving your sources away. If a publisher is openly saying this publicly, then you are free to disclose that. Unlike what is happening with leaks and stuff like that, where they should not be leaked at all. This developer here is coming out and saying, you know, from what we've heard within Sony, from our own contacts, they've abandoned the hardware. So why should we make a game for it? And, it's bittersweet when they say we will never, ever do that again. And clearly they've learned their mistake, because making the game twice just because it's on PlayStation, where, all these games are generally available on the Quest, and Quest's market is massive, right? Millions. And for PSVR2 to come out in its bullish way and expect everyone to port their games over without it making it somewhat compatible or easy to do is a bit of a no-no if you ask me. But folks, that is the news, that is the story. It looks like Sony is in the process of abandoning PSVR2. I, as someone who has bought the PSVR2 day one, regret my purchase wholeheartedly. At the end of the day, it hasn't offered me really anything that my Quest hasn't offered. And before anyone says, oh, but PSVR2 looks so much better, it does. It actually does. The graphics do look better. But my Quest is wireless, and that wins every day. It's really that simple. If a game is available on the Quest as opposed to my PSVR, I'm more likely to buy it on the Quest because it's wireless. I can take it anywhere I want and play it. Whereas with my PSVR 2, I am stuck to the PS5, pretty much consuming that living room playing it. And with the PSVR, I can play it anywhere in the house I want. So there's that too. Anyway, that's the story. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion, and I will see you in the next one. As always, remain legend.